Welcome to the Beyond the Mat podcast, an in-depth talk show discussing exclusively WWE topics.
My name's Rick Boogs, and I came to rock with the Beyond the Mats podcast that is beyond the M-A-T-T podcast. Ah!
All right, it's Beyond the Mat. It is June 27th, 2022. It's Monday, so we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw tonight. Pretty good episode tonight, in my opinion. Lots of action. We started off with the Battle Royal to determine the sixth of 7 competitors in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We still have another one to find out. I guess we'll find out about that on SmackDown. There was 2 guys in this match I definitely thought were going to be the winners, and one of them ended up being it. We also had a lot of John Cena tonight. We saw him backstage with a lot of different guys on the Raw roster, and then he came out and cut a promo in front of the fans, got everybody fired up. Not before Mr. McMahon introduced him, of course, because he had to. Saw AJ Styles take on The Miz. Saw Cena backstage with Ezekiel, in addition to everybody else, and that was pretty funny. Bianca and Carmela got into it. Thought this was going to be a contract signing. Just ended up being a Bianca Belair promo, interrupted by Carmela. I guess called out by Bianca was Carmela. And they had a little bit of an interaction ahead of their match going into Money in the Bank. Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan fought each other. I guess, we got to add some beef between the two of them before we get in this Money in the Bank match. Asuka was talking gibberish on the commentary for that match. We'll get into that later. Lashley took on the Alpha Academy with Austin Theory ringside as a special enforcer, being a complete prick. And then at the end of the night, we had Becky Lynch, Xia Li, Nikki ASH, Doudrop, Shayna Baszler, and Tamina all in an elimination match to determine the final ladies' Money in the Bank ladder match qualifier, and that was a hell of a match. Got Brad joining me tonight, and he will be with us in just a second. I want to remind all you guys to follow me on Twitter at BeyondMatWWE. I'm also available on all podcast platforms, the Beyond the Mat podcast. We're also on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating on those podcast platforms, and if you got time for it, leave a review. And remember, if you want to enjoy our content ad-free, join us on Patreon. $1 tier is our lowest tier. We got Discord benefits, inside news, merchandise, and of course the ad-free content. We're going to be posting some bonus content soon as well. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest. Brad, how you doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I thought we had a pretty good episode tonight. It was filled with a lot of matches. They even had to cut the Kevin Owens match for whatever reason. I didn't hear about why they did that. I don't know if Owens was sick or whatever, injured. I don't know. We didn't see him at all on the show. We did see Ezekiel, but what did you think of the show overall?
Man, I thought it was good, and a lot of consequential stuff, a lot of stuff that actually meant something rather than just random matches. I mean, you had some of the random matches, but other than that, I thought it was terrific, man. I thought it was one of the best episodes of the year.
Yeah, so we started off with Money in the Bank, last chance qualifying Battle Royal. Now, I don't know why they're calling it last chance when they got 2 spots left, but they filled the 6th spot with this one. We had all kinds of guys out here. I'm not even going to go through everybody. I'll just go through what I saw as the eliminations. We had Veer eliminating Tozawa and Shelton Benjamin pretty much right away. Ali then set up Veer for a double 619 by the Mysterios. Veer then got thrown out by the Mysterios and Ali. R-Truth and Shanky started dancing. Jinder and Shanky both eliminated R-Truth, and Jinder took out Shanky. Styles then threw Jinder into Shanky over the top rope. T-Bar then military press Reggie, threw him into Shanky and Jinder Mahal. Ciampa eliminated Ali. Styles eliminated Ciampa. Ziggler eliminated Dom in what looked like it was a botched spot. It didn't look like Dom was supposed to be eliminated there or something. I don't know what the hell was going on, but it looked like he couldn't hang on to the rope and he went down. Then AJ got rid of Rey Mysterio. Then a nice looking spot here. T-Bar throws Ricochet onto one of the ladders they had, and I'll get to this ladders all over the place in a minute. But they got these ladders all over the place to, advertise for Money in the Bank. Throws Ricochet in the ladder. Surprise to me, the ladder didn't fall over. Ricochet manages to balance himself on the ladder. Feet don't hit the ground so he can stay in the match. Jumps back onto the apron right into the grasp of T-Bar. Fights out of a choke slam and hits a beautiful looking Hurricane Rana to get rid of T-Bar and hangs onto the top rope to stay in the match. Then Ziggler gets taken out by Nakamura. Riddle quickly eliminates Nakamura just after that. Ricochet then hits a moonsault into Styles and a drop kick, but then gets eliminated. Miz then is being shown on the side after he rolled out of the ring earlier in the match. It looks like he's hurt. People are checking him out. The commentary's putting it over as he's got a legit hurt knee. So we got Styles and Riddle remaining. They face off. Two baby faces in the ring here. I figured a baby face would go over, and in fact, I thought Styles or Riddle would win this match. Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Miz pulls him down, eliminates him. Miz then gets back into the match. He was not hurt after all. He's faking the injury. Riddle hits the draping DDT on Miz, goes for an RKO, gets blocked right into a skull-crushing finale. Riddle then does a triangle takeover on Miz and tries to pull him over the top rope. Doesn't get it, but they're both on the apron and nails an RKO to knock Miz off the apron and win. So Riddle qualifies for the Money in the Bank match. What do you think of the Battle Royal?
Well, there was a few interesting things about it. The most memorable moment to me, other than the RKO that Riddle gave Styles or gave Miz to end it, was the T-Bar Ricochet spot that you mentioned. And that was just really, really great. And I thought T-Bar actually had a great showing in this thing. I thought he was, he came across really well, like better than he has in years. And, I thought that, it was pretty predictable, honestly, that Riddle was going to win. But I thought this match was just really fun to watch, man. It was just really cool. It was a great way to start it. The crowd was completely on their feet, so into it. It was, quite frankly, it was awesome. I mean, I thought it was the best thing of the whole night.
Yeah, Battle Royals can get pretty, messy in there. It's hard to get everybody doing stuff and it not be a complete mess. And they did a good job of having guys work into the corner while other guys did stuff. And, they did have good, T-Bar had some good spots in here. Hopefully, like I said, he was supposed to be somebody who was joining the Judgment Day and going to, make a singles push. And we haven't seen that happen. But yeah, he did have a good showing in this. The Riddle RKO was nice at the end. The Ricochet spot, like I said, that was real cool. The Mysterios, they even gave them the double 619. So they really tried to put a lot of spots into this. Now, I thought it was pretty obvious Riddle was going to win too, just because the two people I thought that could win this are Styles or Riddle, and Styles didn't even get a proper entrance. He was waiting in the ring in the beginning.
I was going to bring that up. Absolutely. It was weird that Styles didn't get an entrance, but the Mysterios did, but Riddle did, and someone else did, right? Am I wrong? Did someone else get an entrance? Nakamura did. Correct. So, you had a really interesting dynamic with that. And it kind of shows, AJ Styles kind of falling, I guess, in the eyes of, I guess, either the company or just in terms of his status right now. But, man, this was just really great. I mean, I have no problem with obviously Riddle winning. If you want to look ahead a little bit, it's very tough to imagine AJ Styles getting in at this point, because it's now no longer a second chance. Now it's a third chance. And that's why I don't think it's going to be him who's going to be that last entry in Money in the Bank. So I'm sure we'll get to that, but just something I did want to just point out.
Yeah, I mean, that Styles was somebody I thought would be qualifying in some kind of last chance fashion, and this was a last chance match. He didn't, but then again, why are they calling it the last chance when somebody's going to have another chance to be the seventh person? You know what I mean? Something's got to happen on SmackDown for the seventh person to get in there. And, they had the backstage segment with Rollins and Cena, and Rollins was like, "Oh, are you in the match? You're not in the match. Oh, yeah, you're not in the match." And I was wondering if that's a tease that they're going to, surprise put Cena in the Money in the Bank match, but that would just seem like a lot. But to, put him in there just to put over everybody else. Now, he got walked up on by Omos. This was in the last hour of the show. MVP talked about how Omos was going to beat Rollins in the Money in the Bank match with ladders and bodies lying everywhere. Rollins looked a little bit afraid of that, but whatever. I don't think any of us think Omos stands a chance in this match, but I can't imagine who that seventh person is going to be.
I can't either. That's why it's going to be either a huge surprise type of person, or it's going to be, it's just going to be like The Miz or something like that. Because, The Miz, he didn't get a second chance. This was really his first chance. And the weird thing is, I didn't even notice Miz in the ring at the beginning of the Battle Royal. It almost felt like he just was there all of a sudden. Like, I was looking around and I saw Ciampa and I saw AJ and I saw, Shanky. So I did not see The Miz. I understand. I guess he was there from the very beginning, but I did not see him at all until after the first commercial.
And he was in the corner. He was in the corner opposite the hard cam side, like kind of behind. In this Battle Royal,
I did think that their camera work was very sloppy. Like, there was a lot of things, and I understand how hard it must be to catch everything. But this was like the worst camera work that I've seen out of WWE in a long time. Just because there was a lot of things going on, and you'd have a cut of like Miz laying there in the corner where actual things were going on somewhere else that were seemingly important. So that was the one criticism that I would have of it, but I understand how crazy it must be for a director or producer to be calling those shots and, hey, camera 4, camera 3, camera 2, it's not easy. And I get that.
Well, it's also a pain in the ass for the camera guys to navigate around a bunch of freaking ladders that are all over the place for no reason. I mean, can you imagine being at this show, having a front and center ticket and a freaking ladder blocking your view of the ring?
Awful.
I understand the ladders up by the entranceway, and I guess maybe even in the aisle coming down, but why the hell are they surrounding the ring when it's not a Money in the Bank ladder match for them to be there? I understand they're trying to put over the show. They've been having briefcases hanging from the ceiling for a month. I just don't understand why we needed to have, because that obviously affected what they were doing in the matches. You could tell in the last match that the ladies had to navigate around the freaking ladders to do what they were doing ringside. And yes,
and another instance of that was when Montez Ford, when he did that dive out of the ring onto, I think it was the Usos, I guess, or one of the Usos. He had to do it in a direction that they normally don't do it because the ladders were everywhere else.
Yeah, he did it towards the hard cam.
Correct.
So they had to get a funny angle, and it just did all. Having that stuff there, I think, affected the presentation of it. and it had to affect people in the front row that were having to rubberneck around it the whole time. But
oh yeah, and those tickets weren't cheap tonight with Cena coming back, and that's why on Friday night we are going to get a 7th person in Money in the Bank in the ladder match, and I don't think it's going to be Cena because it would have to happen at SmackDown. And if it's going to happen at SmackDown, you would think that they would already be advertising that just to sell. I mean, why would you not say, hey, John Cena is going to be on SmackDown? And that is not something that's going to, be part of the fray, apparently, unless it's a complete shock surprise. You would think just like this episode, they would want to get that ticket sales rub from that. So I just can't imagine who it's going to be, man. I cannot even imagine unless... Is there anyone, Matt, that is a surprise return that could be a surprise return?
Edge
on SmackDown.
Yeah, it doesn't make... There's just certain guys like Edge and Styles, I don't see them going and doing anything on Friday night. Like, you can see Riddle doing that. And that's the reason why I thought Styles might win this, because then Riddle would continue to have that, I need that last chance, and then he'd finally get it. I thought that would happen on SmackDown and we get Styles tonight, but that didn't happen. But yeah, surprise return, unless Cody Rhodes isn't as hurt as we think he is, and that's why we saw him in his interview tonight, and he's going to surprisingly enter that match. But I just think the die's been cast there. I think he is out for a while. For the year. That would be... Could
you have a Rick Boogs return? Not yet.
I think it's a little early for him. I mean, because he's been on all over social media and with his recovery and all that stuff. He's doing well, but he's not ready to come back yet. But I don't know. I really can't think of anybody unless it's going to be a surprise Cena entry. Which, honestly, they don't even have to do that on SmackDown. They can just announce it. For all we know, they've announced it on social media while we're recording this, and we don't even know it. Like they did for that last man standing match. But anyway, 6 or 7 people in the Money in the Bank match. Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Omos, Riddle, McIntyre, and Sheamus. So... need one more guy. Who the hell knows who it's going to be? Street Profits backstage with Cena. I think the Street Profits act is getting really old. I think they need a change, but Cena tells them that he can't give them much advice about how to beat the bloodline because he's never been able to crack it. But they are the Street Profits. He tells them about who they are and tells them to never give up. And then we get an interview with Riddle again, saying how he won that match for Randy, and I love Randy, and that was for you, bro. And he also says that John Cena told him to never give up. So, again, Riddle's just pushing this Randy Orton stuff. Every match matters because of Randy Orton, and I think that that's being laid so heavy because whenever Orton comes back, they're going to have some kind of issue. That's what I see.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it one or two ways. I mean, it's this is a big seller. I know you just got your RK Bro T-shirt. How many other thousands and thousands are like you? I mean, there's got to be a thought, at least in their mind, of keeping them together. There has to be, because it's too popular to screw around with. It would almost be like, breaking up the bloodline or something, at that time. Like, they're the most popular thing in all of WWE, and I think that people will be very disappointed if the first thing that happens when they come back is just Randy's pissed and they're breaking up. So I don't think that that's going to happen, man. And I know it seems like they're setting it up that way, and maybe it will happen down the line, but I don't think yet. But this might be just adding fuel to that for when it eventually does happen,
Yeah, or it could just be genuine. What they feel is what Riddle should be saying. I don't know. Because if they've been such good friends and Riddle's grown so much because of Randy, then maybe he is supposed to be loving Randy so much. Maybe everybody's overthinking it with the turn and all that. And I agree with you that on the babyface side of things in tag teams, if that tag team's put back together, that's the only tag team I can see worth a damn to beat the Usos to win the titles back. I don't see the Street Profits doing that. I don't see Alpha Academy doing that. They're heels anyway. The Viking Raiders aren't going to do that, as dangerous as they looked.
Yeah, and look, it might not even be for a tag team, you know, reuniting. I mean, they could still, you know, be RK Bro, where, you know, Randy kind of is, you know, got his back during his singles matches, and he's kind of got his back during Randy's singles matches, and occasionally they team together in certain areas. And, you know, it doesn't have to be necessarily like they're just RK Bro and they're just tag team now forever, because I do think Riddle in a certain way has moved past that. But who knows, man? It does seem weird with the constant Randy mentioning, like almost just like too much, but Riddle's still extraordinarily likable and clearly like one of the biggest stars that they have now, which is, you know, we always hear, oh, these guys, you know, they come up from NXT and they just fall flat. Well, this is an example of one that didn't fall flat at all. Matt Riddle, you know, he became an actual main eventer.
Yep, he's definitely a star. Next up, we had Montez Ford and Jey Uso. Now, originally, the winner of this match, tag team, was supposed to be able to pick the stipulation for Money in the Bank. I guess they got rid of that part. But
where the hell is the stipulation?
That's what I'm saying. I guess they got rid of that part of this match. This match meant nothing except for having two members of a tag team face each other in a singles match. Regardless, the match ends with Jay hitting a suicide dive on Angelo Dawkins, but then Ford goes for a suicide dive on Jay, brings it back in the ring, goes up for his frog splash, which he had gone for earlier, and got distracted by Jimmy Uso. This time he hits the frog splash and nearly hits the Money in the Bank briefcases while he's at it, and gets the 1, 2, 3. So got Ford going over in this match here on the go home show for Raw to the pay-per-view. Like I said, I thought that this match was supposed to be winner pick stipulation, but I didn't hear any stipulation added to the Money in the Bank match, so I guess that wasn't part of what this match was meant for. But you know, Jay hit a nice pop-up neck breaker in this match too. You know, it was a decent little match between the two of them, but nothing special. Like you said, even in this match, the camera work, in all the matches, the camera work was strange because they were navigating around ladders. But I don't know.
Yeah. I thought we were going to see Montez grab the mic after that match in the middle of the ring and say, we want a no disqualification, or we want, you know, no count out, or false count anywhere, or, you know, you would think, you know, something like that, but no, just no stipulation. I mean, maybe that's what we get on Friday night. I could totally see the Street Profits being at SmackDown on Friday night completely.
Yeah, and I also thought when they were talking to Cena, that when they were like, how could we beat the bloodline, that like part of that discussion was like, what stipulation do you think we should use? But it obviously wasn't. It was all just for him to say, never give up. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I can see them on there. So we saw a Cena video of his career, and then we had Miz come out, let us know that Logan Paul's returning. He says that he set it all up for Logan Paul's return, and he will be tagging with him at SummerSlam and eventually being the Unified Tag Champions. You know, then Patrick starts talking about Miz's balls, and Miz tries to say they're gigantic after putting a stop to the ball talk at first. And in the middle of him talking about his gigantic balls, AJ Styles comes out. They have their match. Decent wrestling match here. Ends in a count out.
Long match.
Yeah, it went a lot longer than I thought it would be. Styles hit a drop kick and a backbreaker early. That was nice. Miz took over with a rebound knee and a knee to Styles' face. Styles fought back, but then ate a flying corner splash and a double axe handle from the top rope by Miz. Then Miz applied a rear chin lock. Styles then threw Miz to the ringside area, hit a moonsault from the apron, but missed Miz. Miz then dropped him onto the apron and rammed him into the barricade. Miz hit a DDT in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Then he started laying in some yes kicks, hitting the hell out of Styles. At the end of this match, Styles had a bloody face, bloody nose, bloody cheek. Skull-crushing finale attempt by Miz, countered into a nice-looking German suplex by Styles. Miz then countered a Styles clash and a phenomenal forearm attempt. Hit double knee to the face on Styles, who was on the top rope. That looked pretty painful there. Went for a cover, got a near fall. Styles reversed the suplex, but Miz gets back in control, hits a flying knee strike, goes for a fall, gets two. Styles then fights back with a Pele, nails a brain buster, sets up for the forearm, and Miz rolls out and heads to the gorilla position and gets counted out. So
Styles was also super bloody at Hell in a Cell too. I wonder if he has like very weak skin lately or something where I don't even know how he was so busted open like that. I don't even understand how that happened to him again. But, the other thing about Styles, and I really do like him a lot, and I think a lot of people love him and know how awesome he is. It was just, his entrance got very little reaction compared to like the other things in the night. And I think also that was like part of that was just that he walked to the ring with a purpose and determination. He didn't do the whole, bending down and take the hood off and pop up and all what he normally does for his entrance. But still, it just seemed like the crowd was just like, what? Like there was no excitement in AJ Styles is coming out now. I don't know why, man. It just did not feel the energy that you felt from everything else tonight.
Well, I mean,
a little strange to me.
He did interrupt the Miz thing. So like the Miz shit was going on. And so, people are sitting there wanting to make fun of Miz's balls, and then Styles' music comes on. So it's not a good spot for him to come out in during that. And at the same time, Miz and Styles were in the freaking battle royal. So it was just strange seeing them come out again after they already were in a match.
Yeah, and then having such a long match after really Miz put in a lot of work tonight, man. I mean,
Yeah.
He lasted to the end in the battle royal and then did that had to be a 15-minute match. It had to have been.
Yeah, it was
right?
pretty long for a Raw match, and it ended in a count out. And I don't understand that. Why don't you just let Styles hit the forearm and end the match?
I didn't understand the count out thing at all. Yeah, made no sense. Totally agree.
So, regardless, we got Cena backstage with Ezekiel. KO and Ezekiel was supposed to have that match. Like I said, Jimmy Smith let us know it got canceled or rescheduled or whatever for whatever reason. Cena says, "Never forget who you really are," to Ezekiel, which I thought was kind of funny. Then Theory comes from behind, says, "You should know who I am." Said they're celebrating you, but they should be celebrating me. Theory then goes for a selfie with Cena, and Cena walks away before he can take it. That was kind of funny.
Very funny.
Got some foreshadowing there with Cena and Theory not happening yet, at least as far as we know past tonight, because we did see the Lashley match with Theory ringside, post-match beatdown, everyone chanting Cena. Cena did not come to the rescue. But before we get there, we have Bianca and Carmela in a segment. I thought this was going to be a contract signing. That's what the internal run sheet said, but ended up being Bianca coming out, talking about how Carmela, thinks that she, nobody respects her because she doesn't respect herself. Carmela has it, but she can't see her own talent. She needs to bring it at Money in the Bank, and then calls Carmela out. Carmela comes out. She tells Bianca she's wrong. She's not an insecure person. She's just smart, and she's got all the beauty and the brains. And that's why people don't respect her, because how great she looks. She says her resume speaks for itself. Money in the Bank winner, a tag champ, a SmackDown Women's Champion. She's not given the respect she deserves. She'll take it just like she'll take the Raw Women's title. Then we had Kevin Patrick go to ask Bianca Belair a question. Bianca didn't sell this well at all. She looked like she was expecting something to happen. Carmella then went for a super kick that Bianca caught. Bianca hit her with the right. Carmella rolls out of the ring. Bianca stands tall. This seemed like a nothing segment to me, a space filler. But what did you feel about this one?
Yeah, Bianca was weird, man. And I didn't understand, like, if you're going to try to get us excited about this match, why would you have Bianca be the one standing tall after this? Why would you have Bianca kind of catch her kick and just kind of knock her out of the ring, and Bianca's music plays, and like, it just makes it seem like, oh, this is going to be so easy for Bianca, rather than, you know, having Carmella do something really dirty and just really beat her down in like a terrible way. That's the way you would think something like this would go, you know, not just, oh, like Bianca just kind of swatted her out of the way and there you have it. And you're not going to get much of a match on Saturday because it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. That I didn't understand. You understand what I mean, right?
Yeah, the go-home math doesn't make sense. You got Bianca standing tall with the right hand. Basically, nothing happened. Bianca looked like she had the look on her face she had when Rhea Ripley cut a promo on her. Like she was afraid of something. And then it's like she can't even pay attention to Kevin Patrick to make it look like she's not expecting Carmella's super kick and catches it. But yeah, I agree with you. Now, last week they had the interview segment where Carmella jumped Bianca. So I can see where they're like, okay, last week we did this, so this week we're going to do it. But I don't know. Now, they're also advertising for SmackDown this week that everybody that's on the Money in the Bank is going to be at SmackDown. I don't know if that means everybody on the card or everybody in the match. But if that's the case, then maybe we get another Bianca and Carmella interaction on SmackDown, because that was a terrible go-home interaction. I mean, what kind of... There's no heat from Carmella on that other than her arrogance, which we already all knew about. And quite frankly, we all know about Bianca's arrogance too. And that's why half of the people think that she'd be a better heel than a babyface. And that's why I think her title reign has been completely underwhelming up till now. Is she great in the ring? Have she had awesome matches? Sure. But her promos are absolutely not any better than Ronda Rousey's, in my opinion. And just the acting and the stuff like this, like I think I can see why they want to, have her presented as a top woman, but I can also see why they're not totally confident and have her out there cutting promos every night and doing all this, because she's so one note. Carmella thinks this, and I'm the EST, so that equals this. It's like everything sounds the same every time she talks.
Yeah, Carmella is a better promo than her. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I don't think. I think that's kind of hard to dispute. Like, Carmella is better on the mic than she is, and that, again, this thing made zero sense to me, and it added nothing. It did nothing. Like you said, all it showed was Carmella's arrogance, and Bianca is the EST, and she's the best, and that's what you got. Now, if we're going to have something interesting happen on Friday, then it all doesn't matter. But if not, that was really weird. What bizarre. And Bianca got basically no reaction too, man. Very little reaction from the fans in Laredo, Texas tonight.
Yeah. Well,
very minimal.
They gave a lot to John Cena, though. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
The Beyond the Mat Podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Beyond the Mat Podcast.
All right, so we're back on Beyond the Mat. Remember, if you want to get rid of those ads, we're on Patreon for as little as $1. All podcast platforms as well. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review if you'd like to. Follow us on Twitter as well at Beyond Mat WWE. Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan were up next. They had a backstage segment first where they were going back and forth about who's going to beat who at Money in the Bank. Bliss was much more convincing to me than Liv. Liv still does the thing where it's, I'm going to win and I'm going to start laughing in between words because I'm so choked up to remember my line. I don't know. I can't buy her when she's speaking. Bliss, on the other hand, is very believable in her promos and actually pretty funny. But Liv a little bit shaky.
Oh, she's great. I hated this, man. I hated how, like, Alexa needed to get a loss tonight. Like, I don't see any point to why she needed to take her first singles loss tonight.
Well, I don't see any point to have Asuka on commentary. What the hell is that all about?
What the hell was that?
Talking gibberish the whole time. It distracted me from actually watching the freaking match. This is back and forth match. They traded different waist locks. Liv went for a flying hip, goes for another one. Bliss gets out of the way, hits her with some knees, then a running senton. Bliss sidestepped a thunder kick by Liv, and then locked on a headlock. Then Liv put a headlock on, but Bliss got out of it with a jawbreaker. Liv hit a drop kick. Then she knocked Liv off the top rope, but Liv rolled her up for 2. So it was for 3. I'm sorry. I don't understand, the roll-up victory out of nowhere, I guess, protects Bliss here from the loss that you're talking about. But at the same time, when these two are in the ring, I can't tell who's who.
I know what you mean, man.
I'm like,
I know what you mean.
I'm like, wait a minute. Did Liv just hit her? Or what's going on? Who just put the leg lock on that one? They look the same, sort of, if you're not really focused. It's like their gear was so similar. They both have blonde hair. I know they're two different people. I know they actually look different, but like
Alexa's just got like bigger hair, like her hair is just like bigger and more puffy or whatever. And yeah, I agree, man. They're like the same height, like same everything. But Asuka being on commentary, I gotta be honest with you, man. I kind of blame Asuka a little bit, and it makes me not like her as much because, like, at a certain point, you could say to the creative, like, listen, I'm not speaking Japanese here. I'm not speaking English here. You just want me to go out there and mutter gibberish? Like, okay, like, guys, I'll do what you want, but like, I'm really not in the mood to like just be a complete buffoon. Like, I don't know if I want that to be my character. And like, I'm sure they would be like, all right, go out there and, come say some things, but you don't have to talk like an idiot. But she's fine with talking like an idiot.
Well, tonight she was fine talking like a complete idiot. Like, it's a certifiable idiot. Like, I don't understand, and I'm not trying
That wasn't Japanese, Matt. That wasn't Japanese. She was just saying blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and then...
It wasn't Japanese.
Well, it was almost like she was making fun of her own gimmick. Like, she was just like, oh, yeah. Nobody get through Asuka. That's right.
Yeah, nobody
and then
can
she was
handle
like,
Asuka.
And someone was like, what? And she... Liv or Alexa? Liv. I didn't get it.
No, it wasn't even Liv or Alexa. They asked her about Lacey Evans out of nowhere. Yeah. And she was like, oh, Lacey Evans. And like, oh, you're worried about Lacey Evans? She's like, Liv. And that was like the only thing that she said that was like, other than no one's ready for Asuka. Dude, it was like, again, she was not speaking a language. It was not Japanese. It certainly wasn't English. It was just shit and blabbermouth. And it was the whole fucking match. It was impossible to pay attention, man. It was really bad. And it just bothers me, man. And it's quite honestly the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really, really, really dumb. I don't understand the purpose of it. Are they putting Asuka out there for the purpose of us thinking that she's going to be the one to win the Money in the Bank? Are they putting her out there for entertainment purposes? What is the purpose of this? It's obviously not, she's not in a feud with either of these two ladies. I understand she's in the Money in the Bank match, but that's got to be Vince McMahon wanting her to be out there just to make a joke out of the whole thing. I mean, like you said, if I was her, I'd be like, why are you making me do this? But it's almost like she was making fun of herself, like just being like, this is a dumbass gimmick. There's nobody gets through Asuka crap and talking all this stuff, and was honestly like making a mockery of what she's told to do. I don't know. I'm speculating. I have no idea.
There was one point that I caught very clearly, and if anyone wants to go back and listen to that monstrosity, you can. She goes, Corey Graves said something, and she started for a second, like actually talking like a normal person for like 2 words. She was like, and then she's like, blah, 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 blah. And then she like remembered that, like, oh, I can't talk like a normal person. I have to talk like a fucking retard again. So I'm just going to do that. So, she can talk normal. Again, Vince was probably like, if she wants to talk like a moron, let her talk like a moron. You know what I mean? Like he probably just until she says something, which she probably won't. Like, they're just going to go with this, man, and just let her be an idiot.
I think Vince likes it. I think he's like, look, I think it's really funny if we have her talk like this. Sounds like, and I do think that she started talking and then she caught herself and then she was sort of mocking the whole gimmick by doing that complete gibberish spot where she's, it was clearly not Japanese. It was just a bunch of sounds. But we're spending way too much time talking about this crap. Who cares? So, get Vince McMahon coming out. He gets a babyface reaction. Everybody lined up in the aisle here for John Cena to come out. McMahon introduces John Cena. Important to note here that John Cena has granted more Make-A-Wishes to anybody ever with 659 and counting. So McMahon brings in Cena. Cena says it's his WWE birthday. Thank you, Cena. Chants break out during this. Cena gets the fans fired up. He says he's going to have another match one day, more than one match one day. He says he'll never give up. He's just getting started. And if you want some, come get some. Not going to get into the whole Cena promo here, but he basically got the crowd fired up for the his 20-year anniversary, and he really was very thankful to the fans here. So, you got anything to say about this?
Not much, man. I mean, I got to be honest with you, man. I thought something was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be just niceties and just, oh, it's all about you, the fans. It's all about you guys, and we're together, and we're one, and I learned so much from you. I get it, man. He's a big time star, and he's meant so much to the company and to a lot of people, and everyone loves him. But like, I just wanted some. I mean, it would have been the perfect point for someone like an Austin Theory type of guy to come out and just destroy that moment. At the end, once he kind of got out everything he needed to say.
Yeah, I think they needed to give him his moment, and they needed to, everybody that wants to say basically what you're saying, they know everybody's saying that, and so they want to just say, no, it's just his 20th anniversary, but they did the tease with Theory earlier in the night. That's coming. Once Theory gets done with Lashley at Money in the Bank, I'm fairly certain we're going to see him with John Cena after that. Whether the U.S. title's involved in it, I don't know. But given the fact that in the next match we had Bobby Lashley in a handicap match against Alpha Academy with Austin Theory as a special enforcer, this was actually a pretty good match here. Lashley and Otis started out here. Lashley then goes low to take out Otis because they were at a stalemate running into each other. Goes for a suplex. Theory distracts him. Lashley then throws Otis into the corner. Lashley goes after Theory, but Gable takes advantage with a senton off the apron. Then we have Otis hit a splash at the ringside area as we go to a commercial break. Otis working over Lashley when we come back. After another distraction by Theory, Lashley then fights off a double team by Gable and Otis pretty impressively too. Gets rid of Otis. Gable then goes for a chop block and hits a flying shoulder on him. Goes to the top rope, but Lashley meets him up there. Otis tags himself in, powerbombs Lashley off the top. But then we get a moonsault from Gable, a near fall. Lashley fights out of another double team. Eventually, he gets Otis. Otis is going for a Vader bomb here. And Lashley gets on him. Electric chair has Otis on his shoulders. Electric chair drops him. Gable comes off the top rope looking for, a double axe handle or crossbody or something. And I don't know what he was going for, but he gets caught by Lashley, who locks the hurt lock in immediately, and a tap out ensues. So Lashley goes over in this one after taking out Alpha Academy. Immediately after the match, he's attacked by Theory and Alpha Academy, but he fights out of the beatdown. Flatliners Otis, spears Gable. Theory escapes, gets away. So Lashley looks strong here. Fans wanted Cena. They're chanting Cena, 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 while the beatdown's happening, but obviously that didn't happen. So what do you think of this handicap match and what it means for their Money in the Bank title match for the U.S. title?
I guess we learned that an enforcer is like a rule enforcer, right? I mean,
it's somebody who's not the referee, who's on the side of the ring, and if it's a heel, he's going to distract the hell out of the face, and if he's a face, he's going to be kind of a rule enforcer, sort of like whenever they had like Stone Cold be that. But it's always a way to just get somebody involved in an interaction with some kind of feud without actually giving away the match. They don't want to give away the actual long form match between Lashley and Theory until the pay-per-view. That's why when they had that gauntlet match last week, they went right to Theory going for the finisher and Lashley doing that beautiful looking inside cradle to finish it. They don't want, even if Lashley's going to win the match at Money in the Bank, or even whoever's going to win it, they don't want to put the two of them in a situation to give away what they're actually going to do in the match. But they're just keep doing these different ways of having them there, interacting with each other in different ways, having a special enforcer, which is basically somebody there to antagonize that they call a special enforcer, to answer your question. I mean, because anytime there's a special enforcer, there's always been different things they do, like Jesse the Body Ventura one time was a special enforcer to make sure that whoever won or lost the match legitimately, and there wasn't anybody putting their feet on the ropes or whatever. And then, there was other times where special enforcer was Stone Cold Steve Austin, like I said, and it was for whatever reason because he had a feud with Mr. McMahon or something. So,
Yeah. My point was you really couldn't have a worse rule enforcer than Austin Theory, as his character. He's like the most untrustworthy guy. But, I thought what meant more for the match in a certain way or foreshadowing was when Theory went up to Cena and said, "I'm the youngest U.S. champion. I'm the best U.S. champion," whatever he said about the U.S. championship belt. And Cena, now at that point, if Cena had said to him, "That was once mine, kid," or something like that, then I would say 100% Theory's winning this thing, because Cena didn't seem to really give a shit at all about anything he said about the U.S. championship, amongst other things. So I think this match, Lashley and Theory, still ends up as a total toss-up going into Money in the Bank. You agree?
Yeah, I'm pretty much undecided on it right now. I mean, I I would like to see Lashley win, and I think it makes most sense for him to win. But I can also see them having Theory retain it and feud with John Cena over it. But like you said, we got foreshadowing of a Cena and Theory program, but we didn't get any foreshadowing of Cena giving a damn about the title. So who knows what really is going to happen. But I just think Lashley winning this title is important for Lashley, be a babyface champion, because you can't win the world title right now. And then you have Theory in a feud with Cena, which doesn't need a title to draw ratings or to draw anything. It's John Cena. So they can put him up against anybody for any stakes, and people are going to come to see it. So I just don't think that I don't think the wise thing to do is to involve the title in that if you can have a babyface Lashley carrying it and then have this feud that doesn't need the title. But then again, if Theory defends and retains his title against Cena, it obviously makes him stronger. It makes the U.S. title seem more important if Cena's actually still interested in it. So I see both sides of it, but I still think Lashley's probably going over. And, you know, we always say, well, the person who is left laying is the one who's going to win at the pay-per-view. But lately with WWE, that math hasn't added up. So I don't really know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's nice when it's unpredictable, because like the last 2 or 3 pay-per-views, I've predicted every match correctly, and so has everybody I've been in the contest with. It's been freaking stupid. They're all so predictable. But so then nobody wins. Everybody picks the same thing, but main event, we had Becky Lynch, Xia Li, Nikki ASH, Doudrop, Shayna Baszler, and Tamina in the last chance qualifier for the 7th and final spot for the ladies' Money in the Bank ladder match. Early in the match, we had Lynch, Xia Li, Shayna Baszler all out of the ring. Nikki ASH out of the ring. Doudrop and Tamina were going at it. You know, a bunch of different stuff happens here, and then eventually manhandle slam by Becky Lynch to Xia Li. Gets Xia Li out of the match. Baszler then pulls Nikki ASH out of the ring. Doudrop backs Lynch and Baszler into the corner because they were both jumping on her back for whatever reason. With Baszler in the corner, we have Doudrop hitting a cannonball on her, and she tries to do it the same thing to Lynch, but Lynch rolls out of the way, takes Doudrop out. Lynch then hits a rolling thunder kick to Tamina, makes Ash tap to the disarm her just after that. Then Lynch starts beating up Baszler, goes for a baseball slide, but then hits a Bexploder suplex into the barricade. Tamina comes over to try to beat them up, but all of a sudden Doudrop comes rumbling in and takes out the whole group there, right up against the barricade. Now, some reason she starts moving everybody around instead of taking one of them back in the ring. Eventually takes Baszler back into the ring, eats a knee to the face. That gets a near fall. Then we get Tamina and Becky. Actually, Tamina's on the top rope. Becky Lynch and Baszler are trying to superplex her, double superplex her. Doudrop comes in, hits a Tower of Doom spot here, slams everybody down. Everybody falls down. Doudrop then hits a running crossbody on Baszler as she was applying a leg lock to Tamina. Then she gets the pin on Baszler, so Baszler's out. Tamina then reversed the manhandle slam to a Samoan drop. That looked pretty nice. She missed a top rope attack, rolled out right to a Doudrop power slam and splash. This was Becky Lynch. Doudrop hits a really nice looking Vader bomb on Tamina, then pins her for the 1, 2, 3. We're down to Becky and Doudrop. Doudrop sets Becky up for a Vader bomb. Lynch moves out of the way. Lynch goes for a manhandle slam. Can't get Doudrop up. Good luck with that. Doudrop backs her into the corner. Becky gets up to the top rope with Doudrop, because it looked like Doudrop was going for some kind of superplex or something like that, but Becky reversed it into a top rope manhandle slam for the 1, 2, 3 to close the show out and qualify for Money in the Bank. So Lynch is in the Money in the Bank match. What do you think of this match?
The most predictable match I've seen in a very long time. That's really, honestly, like, just the minute you saw Becky, the picture, she was right in the middle of all the women. It was just so easy to predict. It was the most predictable match of anything that I've seen in a very long time. That was like a main event of any sort. So, I mean, I liked it. I thought they all did a pretty good job. It's just you knew what was going to happen. You almost didn't even need to watch it in a certain way because it was so predictable.
Well, see, when I'm watching it, I'm, Becky's manhandle slam and Xia Li pin. She's tapping out Nikki ASH. She's doing all these other things. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe they're booking this for Becky to eliminate everybody except for the last person, and then that person sneak a victory on her. And then again, her cry the blues about wiping out the whole field, but then somebody's stealing a victory from her. But the way it turned out was she was just dominating the whole match and ended up, she was killing everybody in that match. There was a couple times where she got wiped out, but other than that, she's hitting rolling thunder kicks off the top rope, manhandle slams to everybody, disarmor. She took like everybody out except for the couple. And I like that it was her and Doudrop. I think that, honestly, yes. I thought that Baszler had a chance to win this, but, they kind of got her out of there in unceremonious fashion. But it was kind of cool how she was going for the leg lock and then got the crossbody from Doudrop, and Doudrop hit the pin. But like I said, I like the way that it ended with Doudrop and Becky. It made Doudrop look strong here, hitting those Vader bombs and the Tower of Doom. The spot where she ran into everybody right in front of the timekeeper's area, I think could have been done a little bit better. But again, she's probably trying to run full speed around a bunch of ladders. So, and then again, I don't know what the hell she was doing when she did that. She took everybody out, and why not grab the top woman and throw her in the ring? Instead, she just threw everybody around and picked Baszler to take her into the ring. Because obviously that was the spot. It just the whole thing just didn't look very clean. But I thought the match was, pretty well worked for having that many women in it. I think they got the right women out at the right time in the right order. You know what I mean? I think Xia Li should have been eliminated first. ASH should have been eliminated next. Tamina should not have lasted longer than Baszler, but that's fine. And the last two, Becky and Doudrop, was good, but I agree with you. It was very predictable who was going to win this. Becky Lynch in the middle of the graphic, also on the Money in the Bank poster. If she wasn't going to be in the match, she was going to cause some kind of havoc there. That'd be havoc to book. Just put her in the match, then decide who's going to win. I can tell you who's not going to win is Liv Morgan. That's why they put her over tonight, so we could think maybe she's capable, but she's not winning that match. I've heard people say that they think they're going to win that. That's not who's your early prediction? Since we have all 7 women, who do you think is going to win this Money in the Bank match?
Now I got to say Becky, but, I do think there's an outside chance that Alexa Bliss will win, but I got to say Becky at this point.
Yeah, I think it's Becky or Lacey Evans. Bliss has won before. Asuka's won before. Liv Morgan's not winning it. Who the hell else is in it? Shotzi's not winning it. She'll have a good match, but she's not going to win it. I think either Lynch or Lacey Evans will win it.
Yeah, I think Lacey Evans is a good pick as well. But Becky's got to be a big favorite. If you're in Vegas and there's a line on something like this, Becky would be, a big minus, 400, where everyone else is like plus 200, plus 250, plus 350, that sort of thing. And you're right, Liv Morgan's got basically no chance. But I do see like an epidemic is not the right word, but like sort of just a trend of Liv Morgan signs at every Raw, like big LIV letters. And it's almost like it reminds me of like where the fans pushed, maybe not in the most as intense of a way, but where the fans pushed Daniel Bryan to become a champion. It seems like there is a lot of love out there for Liv Morgan, like a lot,
Yeah, I mean that fan push is what pushed her to get her matches with Becky Lynch and her shot there. But it's just, you can see even in a promo with somebody who's her friend, like legitimately in real life, a promo with Alexa Bliss, not even about a title feud, about a freaking match that is basically meaningless, heading into a Money in the Bank match that she needs to win. She can't even cut a convincing promo then. How can you possibly have her be a champion or be somebody with the Money in the Bank contract threatening to cash in? It would just be terrible dialogue. And I just don't think she's right. And I'm not trying to be hard on Liv Morgan. I like Liv Morgan as much as the next guy. But like what you're saying with all the fans like, I know a lot of people that really think Liv Morgan's great, probably because she looks so great. In my opinion, her ring work has improved. Her promos have improved a little bit, but she still has a long way to go behind the mic before she's convincing to me. She's not a Becky Lynch on the mic. She's not a Charlotte Flair on the mic. She's not even a Shotzi Blackheart on the mic. And so...
No, she's not even Carmela on the mic, let's be honest.
Yeah, she's not even Carmela. Not Zelina Vega, another one, better on the mic.
Yep, Zelina's great, yeah.
Wish she wasn't hurt, but is what it is. Lynch qualifies, Asuka out on commentary tonight. I don't think that indicates anything about her having a chance to win. I think they just wanted to have her character out there. So whatever. But yeah, that was just a bunch of crap when she was talking. But that's about it for Raw, man.
One other interesting thing was how, like, Chris Jericho and, different people were on this show in terms of, some of the AEW people. I was a little surprised to see that, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, even Daniel Bryan was on it. The Big Show was there. He's not with WWE anymore. Yeah, a lot of guys. That was kind of cool and interesting and surprising. We also, had the Mysterios running the Judgment Day backstage. Judgment Day trying to convince them to join him, and Judgment Day telling Dom that his dad's his problem and all that. So I wonder if Dom could join Judgment Day. I wonder if that would be a good thing for him.
That seems like it might happen, and I did like the Seth Rollins Cena interaction too. I did think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too, and I thought Seth did really, really well with it. I thought Seth was hilarious in it, and I liked what Seth was wearing, and just his cadence and the way that he, said everything, and with the sort of confidence he says it. He's just really good on the screen. But
really good. What a star.
You ready for some trivia?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Austin Theory claimed that he's the youngest U.S. champion ever at 24 years old. Said this to John Cena. How old was John Cena the first time that he won the U.S. title?
27 years old.
That was quick. Yes, John Cena was 27 years old when he won in 2004. He was born in 1977, so that would make him 27 years old. That was that must have been the easiest trivia question.
It wasn't easy. It was just a good, educated guess.
Oh, yeah. He was 27 when he won the first time. Won it several times after that. But who knows if he'll win it again? Maybe if Theory retains. We'll see Cena face Theory, and he'll win that title, and then maybe drop it back to Theory. I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're doing here. I mean, they got their top babyface on Raw right now, Lashley, other than Riddle, working with Theory, and Lashley should take this title and do something with it and have Theory continue to be pushed up, but working with John Cena without the title. That's my opinion. I don't know how you feel about that.
Let me ask you a question, man. I know we got to go, and it's getting late. I know there has been like that day of Money in the Bank additions to the match. I'm wondering if you could see something like Austin Theory losing his belt and then immediately trying to win that Money in the Bank match, or Lashley being an addition if he loses it earlier in the night before the men's ladder match. Because I'm trying to think of how you get Lashley into something else and out of the Cena picture. If Lashley were to lose, is it possible he gets in that ladder match, bro? Day of.
Yeah, I think it's possible that they do something like that. I don't know how they spin it, but that's not out of the realm of possibility. But I think that, regardless, I think whatever happens with Lashley and Theory, whether Lashley wins or loses, Lashley's not going to have anything to do with the Cena stuff. But if he wins, he's definitely not going to be in the Money in the Bank match. If he loses, yeah, he could be, but they'd have to say beforehand something about who the seventh person is going to be. I mean, how could they even do that? Seriously, for betting odds purposes and whatever. They need to advertise.
Yeah. You'd have to, you'd have to have a situation where, you have the 6 competitors and then you have field or, 7th mystery, as the other person with odds. And you could, you could easily do it. Let's not forget, Lashley did say he's coming after that championship when he held up that kid's belt in the, that he took out of the crowd. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him lose that match in a crazy cheating type of way and just be like, I'm getting the title, backstage in some interview, and I'm entering myself as the 7th person in this, whatever. I do think it was supposed to probably be Kevin Owens and Ezekiel as the 7th entry for the men. And whatever happened tonight leading them to cancel it. Now, maybe that happens on SmackDown now on Friday, or maybe Kevin Owens has COVID or something, I mean, that probably was the plan for the 7th entry. I don't think they planned to have this go where you're going into a Friday where the event is the next day and not having a 7th person. You know what I mean?
I don't either. And I don't remember what they said about when that match is supposed to take place. They did say that it was supposed to be a Money in the Bank qualifier. So I don't know what the hell their plan is, but if it's moved to SmackDown, that's fine. It's just, we don't usually see Ezekiel on SmackDown or Kevin Owens for that matter. But if that happens, I think Ezekiel is going to be the one who wins. I do too. Especially that we just saw Kevin Owens beat him at Hell in a Cell. It's just payback, and Ezekiel's, gotten a little something going on after, this whole Elias thing. I think that really actually turned the corner for him. I thought that was great. Yeah, and it was funny. Cena asked him where Elias was. He said, he's looking for Elrod.
Yeah. Imagine Elrod is the 7th guy in.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. You are right, though. That is supposed to be a qualifying match, and we don't know when the hell it's supposed to happen. It obviously would have to happen before Saturday. So if it doesn't happen Friday, then they got something else in the plans that we don't know about. But that about does it. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to say, if you have Kevin Owens has COVID or something and he can't do it, I mean, you could just have, Ezekiel versus Ricochet or Jinder Mahal. The winner gets in, second chance, something like that. Who knows?
Put him against Butch or something, and then, a Rich Holland,
Yeah, perfect.
But
absolutely.
Or Kofi Kingston or someone who's been in it before that's, been a main eventer at one point in their career. That's at the point in their career where they're basically just putting over new talent. But I don't know. We'll get into that when we get to SmackDown. That pretty much does it for Raw. Do you have anything else to say about tonight's show before we get out of here?
No, you do a great job, Matt, with this show. And even when I'm not on, I love to listen to the show. I think you're the best in the game.
I appreciate it. Well, for all you who feel the same way, remember to follow me on Twitter, Beyond Matt WWE. Available on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Beyond the Mat Podcast. We're on all podcast platforms. Please leave a 5-star rating. Write a review if you'd like to. I'd like to thank Brad for joining me again tonight. So thank you, Brad. Thank all of you for joining us to listen. And we'll be back next time, hopefully with a weekly fix episode. We get back on track with that. Other than that, guys, though, I will catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to Beyond the Mat. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss a show.